Afghanistan and Pakistan are on the edge of conflict. This weekend, both sides exchanged deadly fire across their border. Dozens of soldiers were killed, civilians caught in bombings, and border posts destroyed. This was not just another border clash. It shows how fragile relations are between Kabul and Islamabad, and how Pakistan's old choices are fueling today's crisis. Hello and welcome to Connecting the Dots. I'm Munmun Bhattacharya. Let's connect the dots. The clashes erupted along the Durand Line, the 2,600-kilometer border Afghanistan never recognized. The Taliban government in Kabul accused Pakistan of violating Afghan airspace and bombing a civilian market in Paktika province. Shops were destroyed, lives were lost. Pakistan, meanwhile, accused Afghanistan of harboring terrorists who attack inside Pakistan. Both sides gave different figures. Kabul said over 50 Pakistani soldiers were killed in retaliatory fire, while Islamabad claimed only 23 and insisted it had killed hundreds of Taliban fighters. The violence forced the closure of the two main border crossings, Torkham in the north and Chaman in the south. These are lifelines of trade, and the shutdown left hundreds of trucks carrying goods stranded on both sides. Now look at the timing. The escalation came at a sensitive moment, just as Afghan Foreign Minister Amir Khan Muttaqi was in India on a week-long visit, his first since the Taliban's return to power. New Delhi announced plans to reopen its embassy in Kabul, a move certain to make Pakistan uneasy. Let's listen in to Afghan Foreign Minister.
1000 किलोमीटर अंदर पाकिस्तान के अंदर जंग हो रहा है.
The war is unfolding several kilometers inside Pakistan, so they should control these terrorists themselves. We are in favor of zero tension. If they do not want to engage in dialogue, then Afghanistan has other ways to handle the situation.
For decades, Pakistan was the Taliban's closest supporter. In the 1990s, it gave the group weapons, training, and diplomatic backing. After the US invasion, Taliban leaders found safe haven in Pakistan. When the Taliban returned to Kabul in 2021, Pakistan celebrated. It hoped for a friendly government that would give it strategic depth. But that dream did not last long.
अफगानिस्तान से हमारा ब्रादर पड़ोसी इस्लामी मुल्क.
Afghanistan is our brotherly Muslim neighbor. We have historical and cultural connections. For more than 4 decades, we hosted them at different times. We just demand the Afghan government not allow its soil to be used in fomenting terrorism against Pakistan.
The Taliban, now in power, is no longer dependent on Pakistan. Instead, Kabul accuses Islamabad of airstrikes inside Afghan territory, while Pakistan accuses Afghanistan of sheltering the Tehrik-e Taliban Pakistan, or TTP. So who are the TTP? The TTP was born in 2007, formed by jihadist outfits active in Pakistan's northwest, mainly from the Pashtun ethnic group. They took inspiration from the Afghan Taliban, but their ideology came directly from Al-Qaeda. The goal is to overthrow Pakistan's government and impose strict Islamic rule. The TTP has carried out a bloody campaign for nearly 2 decades. They attacked markets, mosques, airports, and military bases. In 2012, they shot schoolgirl Malala Yousafzai for advocating for girls' education. In 2014, they attacked the Army Public School in Peshawar, killing more than 130 children. The Pakistani military launched several operations and forced many TTP fighters across the border into Afghanistan. But nothing changed significantly. Today, the group has an estimated 30,000 to 35,000 fighters. They are one of the biggest security threats to Pakistan itself. Analysts believe the latest border clashes were triggered by a surge in TTP attacks against Pakistani soldiers. Reports say Islamabad carried out airstrikes in Kabul targeting TTP leader Noor Wali Mehsood. But it's not clear whether Mehsood survived. But such strikes angered the Taliban government, which accused Pakistan of violating sovereignty and killing civilians. The Taliban now faces a dilemma. If it cracks down on the TTP, it risks angering its own fighters, many of whom share ethnic and ideological ties with them. This explains why tensions have spiraled so quickly. The border battles are only one part of the story. Relations have already started souring over the refugee issue. Pakistan recently began deporting Afghans who had fled decades of war. At least 3 million Afghans had taken shelter in Pakistan. Now, thousands are being pushed back, creating deep resentment in Kabul. And together with this refugee issue, the current military strikes have deepened mistrust between the two neighbors. And this is where Pakistan's double standards on terrorism become clear. For years, Pakistan has openly supported terrorist groups like Lashkar-e-Taiba or LET and Jaish-e-Mohammed or JEM, using them as proxies against India. These groups have carried out devastating attacks like the 2001 Indian Parliament attack, the 2008 Mumbai terror attacks, several attacks in Kashmir, and the very recent April 2025 Pahalgam terror attack, which was carried out by Lashkar-e-Taiba's proxy, the Resistance Front or TRF. Even when international pressure forced Pakistan to ban them, their leaders continued to live freely and recruit fighters. The ISI, Pakistan's spy agency, has even acted as a bridge, bringing together groups like Lashkar and Islamic State Khorasan province. So here is the hypocrisy. When terrorists attack India, Pakistan remains silent. But when insurgents like the TTP attack Pakistan, Islamabad calls them terrorists. This shows how Pakistan's double game is now backfiring badly. By playing both sides, Pakistan has ended up trapped. The fighting along the Durand Line is not just about disputed borders. It is about Pakistan's long history of using terrorism as an instrument of foreign policy. Today, the Afghan Taliban is no longer its ally. The TTP is striking deep inside Pakistan. In the end, the lesson is simple. When you sow terror, you cannot escape terror. Was the Nobel Peace Prize leaked? Did the news that Venezuelan opposition leader Maria Corina Machado will be awarded the Nobel Peace Prize this year get out hours before the official announcement? Let's connect the dots. An extremely limited number of people know in advance the name of the Nobel laureate chosen by the 5 members of the Nobel Committee. The Nobel Committee maintains a strict 50-year secrecy rule. This applies to information about nominees, nominations, and selections. The awards nomination and decision process is sealed for 50 years. This means that all information about the nominees, nominators, the reasons for nomination, and the deliberations leading to the award decision is kept confidential and not publicly disclosed for 50 years from the date the prize is awarded. Information about the winner is tightly controlled and limited to the small governing body of the committee and essential staff. This confidentiality helps prevent leaks, but there is reason to believe that wasn't the case this time. There was unusual betting activity ahead of the official announcement, and this has raised a lot of eyebrows. 2 Norwegian newspapers, Aftenposten and Finansavisen, reported unusual and suspicious betting activity on the Poly market platform late Thursday night, hours before Maria Corina Machado's Nobel Peace Prize win was officially announced in Oslo. According to their reports, several large bets were placed, including one user who bet about $67,820 just hours before the announcement. 3 accounts, focusing mostly on bets for Machado, earned around $90,000 collectively. Some accounts that made the large bets appeared to have been created on the same day the bets were placed. This raised suspicion of insider trading or leaked information from within or close to the Nobel Committee. So what is Poly market? It is a decentralized blockchain-based prediction market platform. It enables users to buy and sell shares related to the outcome of real-world events. This could be elections, sports competitions, economic indicators, or bets on which nominee would win in key categories of the Oscars or Emmy Awards or Golden Globes. Initially on Polymarket, Yulia Navalnaya, the economist and widow of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny, led the odds for winning the 2025 Nobel Peace Prize. Machado's odds were much lower, around 3.75%, shortly after midnight Norwegian time. But within less than 2 hours, Machado's odds surged dramatically, jumping first to around 31.5% and then to approximately 73.5%, making her the top contender. This happened even though no expert or media outlet had mentioned her as being among the favorites for the prize, and so there was no prior public expectation of her win. Now look at how it all unfolded on Polymarket. A mystery trader on Polymarket began piling into long-shot bets on her victory. The buying spree from a newly created account called 6741 earned the unknown trader more than $50,000 in profit. When 6741 began buying, about 12 hours before the Nobel announcement, Maria Corina Machado's chances of winning the Nobel Peace Prize were 5% based on Polymarket prices. The mystery trader's purchases in a thinly traded market helped lift her chances to about 70%. Other traders rode the momentum set off by 6741, especially after the bets drew attention on social media. A trader known as Gay Pride placed a series of bets overnight when Machado's chances of winning hovered between 60% and 71% and earned more than $85,000. After Machado won, some Polymarket users and outside observers asked if the mystery trader had been acting on non-public information. If true, it would be a serious breach of the strict secrecy surrounding the Nobel Peace Prize and could tarnish the image of one of the world's most respected honors. A trader with a new account and no prior betting history placed a $70,000 bet on Machado winning the prize and earned a $30,000 profit. Polymarket posted on social media that it called the winner in advance. So what does the Nobel Institute and committee think happened? Christian Berg-Harpviken, the director of the Norwegian Nobel Institute and secretary of the Norwegian Nobel Committee, told this to Norway's TV2 television. Highly likely it's espionage. But the head of the Norwegian Nobel Committee differed. He said he did not believe Machado's name had been leaked. Committee chairman Yar Ginva Nafinaz told this to NTP news agency. I don't think there have ever been any leaks in the entire history of the prize. I can't imagine that's the case. Though he assured that the institute would nevertheless investigate and, where necessary, further tighten security. He said espionage could make it appear as if someone on the inside deliberately leaked information. That is not likely. Have leaks happened before? In the past, unexpected names of Nobel Peace Prize nominees occasionally appeared in the Norwegian media. This did fuel speculation about possible leaks from within or close to the Nobel Committee. But these instances were sporadic and rare in recent years. This is what happened in October 2023. The Secretary General of the Swedish Academy, Hans Ellegren, regretted the premature release of a press statement announcing the winners of the Nobel Chemistry Prize.
Let me say that this is, of course, very unfortunate. We deeply regret what happened, for sure. There was a press release sent out for us for still unknown reasons. We have been very active this morning to trying to find out what actually happened, but at this place we don't know that. We deeply regret that this happened.
That year, French-born Moisey Bavindi, Louis Brass of the United States, and Russian-born Alexei Ikimov were awarded the prize for developing tiny quantum dots used to illuminate TVs and lamps. So gaps in what must be watertight processes have been exposed before. So what concerns does a potential leak in Maria Corina Machado's case raise? Suspicion of espionage is one. One official ruling in espionage suggests that external actors could have targeted the Nobel Institute to obtain confidential information for financial gain or political motives. The incident puts the spotlight on security vulnerabilities. It raises the prospect of the Nobel Institute being potentially vulnerable to cyber or human espionage efforts. It puts a question mark on the Institute's ability to safeguard sensitive information from growing technological threats. Financial exploitation and insider trading is another concern. The question remains, was insider information used for monetary gain? There are political implications too of a leak. Given Machado's political background and the geopolitical interests surrounding the prize, a leak can be exploited for diplomatic or propaganda purposes by foreign intelligence or interest groups. And last of all, a potential leak undermines the Nobel Prize's integrity. It threatens the confidentiality and trust in the Nobel Prize selection process and can potentially cast a shadow on the award's prestige and neutrality. This incident should act as a wake-up call. It calls for a thorough investigation, a transparent communication of the probe's findings to the world to uphold public trust. It also calls for stronger security measures, strict confidentiality, awareness and training of committee members, staff and associated personnel in security best practices and implications of leaks, and also collaboration with Norwegian authorities and cybersecurity experts to identify and neutralize espionage threats, deter insider leaks, and ensure compliance with legal standards. A thorough investigation must now define the future of this revered institution. That's all in this edition of Connecting the Dots. We'll see you in the next episode with more raging issues. Until then, it's a goodbye from all of us in the Delhi newsroom. This is Munmun Bhattacharya signing off. Take care and stay safe.